Hey, everybody. I'm John Fisher. I'm a senior specialized SA with AWS Audit Manager, which is a service in the AWS portfolio. And I'm really, really pleased to be joined by Elaine Lee. She's a cloud cybersecurity manager with Deloitte. And we are here to go over a few things. Generative AI risks. This is a new space. There's a lot going on here. Scrutinizing practical challenges and implications, proactive risk assessment for generative AI, the Deloitte Trustworthy AI Framework, and the Generative AI Framework for Audit Manager, which we released a new version today, and an Introduction to Audit Manager, which I will take that, and we'll do a very, very quick look at the Audit Manager Generative AI Framework. And then I'm going to flip it back to Elaine, who's going to tell you about the Deloitte Nexus Digital Nerve Center and its integration with Audit Manager. Elaine?
Well, thank you, John. So let's start off with some key challenges that we've seen in the generative AI space that Deloitte has identified. So you see 6 over here. So here are the 6 top ones that we've brought out with real-world examples that we'll run through in a minute. So we'll start off with bias. So the effectiveness of your AI system hinges significantly on the quality of the data that you are training it on. When a data has biases, it can lead to skewed outputs. It can potentially result in an unequal treatment of a certain customer group. So a real-life example that we have seen here was that there was an e-commerce company that had to abandon their AI recruiting tool because they trained it on data over the past 10 years, on resumes from the past 10 years. That were predominantly male. And so it had a skewed bias that went towards male candidates. And as a result, they had to basically scrape the whole thing. It is important for you to critically evaluate your data sources and training methods in order to mitigate potential biases. So we'll move on into the realm of privacy and security. When you architect models, they have sensitive data in them, right? And you want to protect this sensitive data. You want to prioritize the data privacy, and you want to fortify your systems against any potential security breaches. An example of this is that there was an AI-powered facial recognition platform that had faced significant backlashes. What had happened was that they could identify individuals by comparing their photos with billions of photos that they identified on the internet, which raised significant privacy concerns because now you can tell who that person actually is. Next, we have here on the bottom emergent abilities. So this term encapsulates the unexpected behaviors that models can exhibit as they evolve over time. You can't really predict this, which basically complicates the efforts to fully understand and test your system outputs. Example of this is a well-known tech company had launched an AI chatbot on a popular social media platform with the aim of learning and improving its conversations from interactions with humans. However, the chatbot very quickly started posting offensive messages within 24 hours of launch due to some users exploiting its learning abilities. So turning our attention to the right here, hallucinations. I think this is a term that everyone has heard. That everyone has heard pretty often. Refers to instances when models generate outputs that are factually inaccurate or just straight up nonsensical. An example of this that we've seen in real world is that there was an airline that was ordered by a civil tribunal to pay or compensate for inaccurate information that their chatbot had actually released. What had happened was that a customer had asked the chatbot, hey, will I get a refund on my ticket if it was for bereavement? The chatbot said, yes, there's a bereavement discount as long as you apply for it within 90 days. That was factually inaccurate. And so they got brought to court and they got ordered to pay for this person's ticket because of the factually inaccurate information that's coming out from it. Next one is inappropriate behavior. So there are instances where basically it's generating inappropriate offensive content. So a real example that we've seen of this is that renowned AI models, they use inappropriate language after being trained with large amounts of data, and you have to remove the inappropriate language from the model. So the last one that we have over here is cost and accountability. As we all know, the process of fine-tuning large models with specific data sets can get extremely costly, which necessitates effective cost management strategies. There's also the question of accountability for actions and decisions made by AI systems, which is a complex issue that really requires careful thought and considerations. And so while Gen AI presents a transformative potential across a variety of industries, it's crucial that we confront these challenges directly. And by doing so, we can harness the power of AI in a responsible and ethically sound manner. So how do you... Let's go back. How do you do this? How do you take a proactive approach for AI risk? So to kickstart this, let's first reflect. What are the risk management activities that your organizations are currently undertaking for Gen AI if you're using Gen AI? This can be anything from creating employee awareness of AI risks to implementing any proactive regulatory engagement plans. So here at Deloitte, we fully acknowledge the importance of protection for AI-fueled organizations. We know it's a necessity to earn trust in AI-enabled assets and services that are being provided to the public. The adoption of AI and automated systems are increasing across organizations and institutions. It's revolutionizing significant aspects of public's daily lives, be it healthcare, banking, shopping, leisure downtime, and many more. But all of these innovations are not without their risk. They can be susceptible to a wide range of AI-related risks throughout all phases of the AI life cycle. We talked about the 6 earlier. Can provide you false information, reinforce the risk of perpetuating inequity, like we discussed, and historic bias. So it is crucial that you are implementing controls to ensure equitable, ethical, transparent adoption of AI in order to protect the public and your assets. So how do you start this? So we have laid it out 3 recommended things that you should start with if you haven't already done so. One is to conduct a diagnostic assessment to identify and inventory your AI use cases and corresponding purposes, which includes your AI models that are in use and existing governance and control processes. 2, develop an AI governance strategy if you've not already done so. So these should include specific outcomes that the company needs to demonstrate compliance to, along with a timeline and any necessary resources. 3rd, train your employees so that they know generative AI. They understand the new regulatory requirements and can identify any policy or procedure change that needs to be adopted. So, going to the risk management journey. So here are 8 key steps. So we talked about the 3 things you need to do, but here are 8 key points that you need to focus on when you're on this journey. 1, the integration of a broader risk management, not just focus on Gen AI. Regular auditing and testing, proactively considering elevated AI risk, adapting to the governance model, evaluating the impact of what can go wrong and how this affects the company. You want to understand your bias and data management evaluations to ensure fairness and transparency. Develop a portfolio view of the risk and opportunities for your AI initiatives, and proactive learning. In essence, it's really all about being proactive, not reactive. You want to be comprehensive and you want to be strategic. And so today, in the interest of time, we're really just going to focus on number 4 here, the adaptation of governance. And with the rapid adoption of AI, right, it is crucial to adapt your current governance model to include leading practices, any relevant frameworks that you need to be concerned with, any regulations that might apply to you, and incorporate AI-specific considerations. This means that you should adjust your existing models to effectively cater to the unique challenges and risks being presented by generative AI. So how do you integrate AI-specific considerations into your governance model, right? Such as like ethical use of AI, data privacy, transparency, accountability, amongst others. You want to adjust so that you can reap the benefits of AI, but also maintain effectively manage the accompanying risk. So how can you do this, and how can we help you? So Deloitte has a trustworthy AI framework. When you're embarking on this journey, again, proactive approach, this framework is a very powerful tool that is designed to guide organizations throughout this process. It offers insights on ethics, fairness, transparency, and security. As a comprehensive and methodical guide, this helps our clients confidently assess and mitigate any potential risk in their GenAI adoption journey and ensure that their systems are technologically proficient, ethically robust, and legally compliant. So this framework is built around 7 different characteristics that are crucial for the responsible use of AI. Privacy, transparency and explainable, fair and impartial, responsible, accountable, robust and reliable, safe and secure. So I talked about the 6 challenges we had in front, right? So here we're going to tell you how this framework helps to address the 6 risks that we talked about earlier. So the very first one, bias, the unequal and unfair recommendations for certain groups of customers. There are controls within this framework that basically helps you and guides you in performing regular bias audits and implement moderation and filtering into your GenAI applications. When we talk about privacy and security, designing models that have access to sensitive customer information, we have controls in place that tells you how do you enforce good practice policies for what, for how, and when access is being provided to external models. Emergent abilities, when you can exhibit novel behavior over time. There are controls in place that helps you monitor the models for abilities that appear with skill, and also controls in place to implement fine-tuning. Hallucinations, factually false outputs. So controls that we have in here can include continuous monitoring of outputs and performance improvements, any sort of additional fine-tuning recommended, as well as prompt engineering. Inappropriate behavior. We have controls in place that tells you how to implement your robust QA processes in order to ensure, decrease the risk of inappropriate responses to maintain your customer trust. Lastly, cost and accountability. So in order to make sure that you don't get crazy charges, really expensive charges for them, controls are in place to help you leverage FinOps capabilities to account and budget for the different costs, and also leveraging open source models in order to have to bring your costs down very effectively. So if you want to grab a quick screenshot, this is here. This is our very famous trustworthy AI wheel that talks about the different domains that we have in it. Probably the great place to grab it. Give a moment here for everyone to look through it. All right. So how do you use this right now? So for organizations that are using Bedrock or Amazon SageMaker, just announced this morning, and you want to use the Deloitte Trustworthy AI Framework, you can look at running the Generative AI Best Practices Framework on AWS Audit Manager, because this framework on Audit Manager not only incorporates frameworks such as the NIST AI 100-1, ISO IEC 42001, the Deloitte Trustworthy AI Framework, and also various academic publications. This helps you align your practice with any applicable laws and regulations, helps you partially automate your assurance activities around these 8 domains and 30 associated objectives. So, John, can you tell us a little bit more about this framework?
For sure. What you're seeing here is the 8 domains, which are largely aligned with what Elaine just spoke about. And hanging below them is the different control objectives. And then there's actually 110 controls that make up this thing. So data sources across Amazon Bedrock, AWS Config, which are basically compliance checks to tell you if certain things are in place or not in place. CloudTrail data, and CloudWatch data are all part of the data sources. And another interesting attribute to the framework, obviously there's a lot of manual activities that take place. Things like human in the loop, observations, making sure that if you put a certain prompt in, something ugly or bad's not coming out, correct? We give you ideas for those prompts and other ways to gather manual evidence or respond to questions that may be in the framework as well. And today, just this morning, I'm pleased to announce that we added Amazon SageMaker to the mix as well. So now you can actually use this best practices framework to monitor your development activities with your large language models, not just your production versions. All right? So I'm going to tell you very quickly about Audit Manager. And I want to quickly mention that Audit Manager, which was released in 2020, was largely developed in collaboration with Deloitte. So thank you, Elaine, Charlie, and you guys. Y'all been instrumental to the success of Audit Manager, and we greatly appreciate that partnership. Audit Manager allows customers to map their AWS usage to a variety of frameworks. Out of the box, we support 32 of them. You can customize those, make them anything you want them to be. You can make them reflective of your own enterprise controls. We also just released a new feature, which is largely built around this concept of common controls, where the language of compliance is now moved up a level to the language that risk managers and compliance officers can understand, and that the technical folks can be abstracted from, because there's another concept attached to that called core controls that are actually the data sources of the AWS data. All right, so saving time collecting evidence. Who loves to take screenshots? I didn't think I would. Come on, Lauren, I know you really don't. Nobody loves to take screenshots. So we can help you with that by gathering configuration data, doing automation testing of your controls. Audit Manager supports streamlined collaboration across teams, and the best thing is it produces a very nice evidence package that's ready at a moment's notice to hand off to your auditors, that has a good organization across whatever framework that you're collecting evidence against and those particular controls. And next I'm going to turn it back to Elaine, who's going to tell you a little bit about the Deloitte Nexus platform, which really adds a level of extreme polish and analytics to the Audit Manager data. So Elaine, tell us about that one.
Thanks, John. Yeah, doesn't Audit Manager sound great? No more screenshots, automated reporting. So you might be thinking, how can I incorporate Audit Manager into my current risk and compliance management? And this is where Deloitte can help. Deloitte is able to help you with Deloitte Nexus, the digital nerve center. What this provides for you is basically a single pane of glass overview that gives you not only Audit Manager results, but it's also able to do and incorporate inputs that are non-AWS. So how this works with AWS is that you have your AWS Audit Manager, your reports, and they flow in as an input into Deloitte Nexus. And what can Deloitte Nexus help you with that input is that we can help you in 5 key areas. You have your assessment objectives and scopes, which can include testing over non-AWS technology elements, not just AWS, which basically gives you, again, a single pane of glass. So you can think of it like a little umbrella where you can help incorporate just AWS, non-AWS, and whatever you have currently in your risk and compliance management. We also we can help you with assessment initiation, can help you establish an audit and compliance program, help you put in place processes to ensure consistent compliance with your regulatory needs. Third, evidence collection. So this step involves the aggregation of data from non-AWS sources for your analysis, because gathering evidence from your various sources is key to forming an accurate and comprehensive picture of your current compliance status. So if you want to integrate Gen AI frameworks with the rest of your organization's risk management, Nexus can be that tool for you. It has the ability to aggregate your data from other sources, not just on AWS. 4, we have a technology that leverages AI logic that can help you determine compliance with your scope. It helps you analyze complex data and provide insights into your current compliance status. Lastly, assessment reporting. We can provide you with custom reporting dashboards for any of the stakeholders that includes trend analysis or improvement areas. How the dashboards look like, you can see over here. Here are some examples that we have done for our clients. It gives you the ability to see your compliance in one single view. You don't have to be clicking into AWS to see it. You don't have to be clicking into your other tools. You can have it all in one location, which helps you save time, and also is just better in giving you insights across your environment. You can double-click in, expand on any of your assessment details to recognize what areas of impact and what trending gaps and deficiencies you have within your environment. And again, we have built an AWS guidance that allows users to effectively address failures detected by AWS Audit Manager. So at a glance, if you didn't hear anything that I presented just now, this is what you need to remember. So 1, define your risk. How can you do that? You can do that with Deloitte's Trustworthy AI Framework. We can help you consider the impacts and any potential mitigating actions for your organization. How do you automate auditing? AWS Audit Manager can help you define leading practices for auditing your AWS environment through the different frameworks that are in there. Third, how do you make it readable for your stakeholders of varying technical abilities? Deloitte Nexus Digital Nerve Center serves as that one single pane of glass, helps you look into a compliance environment without having to look at multiple different sources. So if you're interested in learning more, we have a couple of different QR codes in here. Definitely highly recommend taking a picture if you would like to explore more about Deloitte Trustworthy AI. We also recently just released Embracing Gen AI white paper, discusses more about the collaboration between AWS and Deloitte and how it can help you address your generative AI compliance issues. We have links to Nexus Digital Nerve Center. If you want to learn more about what Nexus can do for you, check that out. If you want to talk to us, we're lovely people. We would love to chat with you a little more about what we do. Please swing by our booth 1311. And if you'd like to learn more about Audit Manager and how you can use it, the last link over there to the right will bring you to the Audit Manager product page.
Yep. And real quick, I think they sorted out my technical issue. So thank you. I'm going to very quickly show you this thing. So this is the framework as it exists in Audit Manager. And there's the 8 domains that we talked about. And underneath each one of those is the various controls that chain up to them. I'm just going to click into one of them here. And you will see from a data source perspective that it relies on a couple of config rules and some API calls to grab some metrics and alarms and things like this for an error analysis. And then you'll notice in the details that there's prompts to what you should also supplement this evidence with from a manual perspective. So the entire framework is very comprehensive that way. And again, as of today, it supports both SageMaker and Bedrock. So thank you guys very much. Hope to hook up with some of you guys individually.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Elaine.
Thanks, John.